Today is July 27th, 2020, and today is part 17 of our study of end times. I want to talk to you today about the Jews. You know that the Jews are God's chosen people. He chose Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all of Jacob's 12 sons to be a special people for himself. Two reasons for that. Number one is that this nation would uphold the name of the one true and only God to the whole world. And number two, that through this nation, the Messiah, the Savior, the Redeemer, Jesus would be born. And Jesus was born a Jew. Now the Jews in the year 70, when Jerusalem was destroyed, were scattered all over the world. And the remarkable thing was, even though they've been scattered for 2,000 years, they have remained a separate and identifiable people. That's never happened to any other people on earth. The other remarkable thing is this. After 2,000 years, the nation of Israel came back into existence. That has never happened ever before. Now, there are today less than 15 million Jews in all the world. That's not very many, but yet we see Israel always in the news. Small nation, one of the smallest nations on earth, yet it's always in the news about something because they're God's people. Because they're God's people, Satan is opposed to them, and never has there been a people in all the world that have been more persecuted and more hated than the Jews, because Satan hates them. Now, they occupy their land today, except they don't have a temple. They desire to have their temple and start their worship back. Well, along comes Antichrist, and the Jews will accept him as being their Messiah, and he is going to work out a 7-year treaty whereby they can rebuild the temple and start their worship back, and they will be elated. And Jews all over the world will be elated. And that will last, of course, for 3.5 years. And then in 3.5 years, Antichrist will go into the temple, this temple, cause the worship to stop, and will set himself up as God and demand to be worshipped. Now in Matthew chapter 24, Jesus said, when you see this happen, that's called the abomination of desolation. When you see this happen, he says, get out of town, leave, run for your lives, because they will try to annihilate you. Satan will, through Antichrist, through the false prophet. Now then, in my opinion, reading today in the book of Romans chapter 11, verse 26, Paul said, and so all Israel, that's all Israel, shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away from ungodliness from Jacob. Now then, he says here there will be a time when all Israel will be saved. All Israel. As a nation, they're going to turn to Jesus as Messiah. Now, here's what I think is happening, or will happen. That is, when Antichrist sets himself up as being God, demands them to worship him, they will then realize we've made a bad mistake. This man is not the Messiah. We have rejected the real Messiah, and I think at that time, they as a nation will turn back and will turn to Jesus and recognize him as being the Messiah. Now, they will be scattered, of course, but God is going to be with them and keep them safe from Antichrist, so that there will be a remnant of Jews make it through this horrible time that we're studying about, which is called the Great Tribulation. So the Jews have a significant part in the end times because they're the ones that Satan is against. And of course, after they turn and receive Jesus as Messiah, Satan is evermore going to hate them. Well, that's the Jews, and that's our time for today. And we will study more tomorrow about end time, so please join us. Hope you have a great day today.